Hey guys, welcome back to another video where we are going to look at some of the miscellaneous usability enhancements done to the eForms module as part of Agile.nx version 9 software update 1 release. As you guys are already aware, eForms is perhaps the most widely used module within the Agile Point suite of products, and we collect customer feedback from time to time and user group feedback, and all of these enhancements are mostly being suggested by the customers. So without further wait, let's look at some of these in action. So I've created a test application to cover all of the scenarios, and I'm going to cover them one by one. So the first change is there's a new theme type which is available. So if you go to settings, appearance, under the theme drop-down, previously there used to be classic, which was more of the green and gray style. Then the modern one, which we came out with in version 8. And then the new one is called Nimbus Blue. The main change in Nimbus Blue is that the height of the control, the font weight of the headers or the labels, and font size, they have all been changed. So if I switch it back to say modern, you can see that the control is a little thinner and it's not in bold. Now if I go in and change this to Nimbus Blue, which is more in line with the modern user experience styles. So this theme is available. If you're creating a new application, Nimbus Blue theme would be the default theme. You can always switch it back. In existing application, the modern or classic theme, whatever you are using, would continue to work. At runtime, if I open it in preview mode, I've put in all the controls on this form, so you can see this is the new theme which is being picked up now across all controls, including the telerik controls as well. So that's the enhancement number 1. So moving on, the next enhancement is around the percentage control. Now there is a new control type called percentage, which is available within the common toolbar over here. So you can see this new control is available. It works more like the formula control we had. It can do calculations and show you the percentage value. So if I open it in edit mode, as you can see, it was read only. I can supply the input value which can come in from another control, the maximum value which will be used for the percentage calculation, and how many decimal places have to be there while showing the results. Rest of the properties remain exactly the same. So if I do a preview for this and go to percentage and I enter something like 400, my base value was 600, so it's showing 66.67%. Change this further, the percentage gets calculated accordingly. Moving on, the next one we are going to look at is a very important feature which has been requested from time to time. Oftentimes what happens is people, they drag and drop a form control, configure it, and as they are configuring it, they realize that they want to change the control type. So this is called control transformation feature. I'm going to drag and drop few controls over here, a text box, and I'm going to give it a default value. Checkbox control. Let's add few options over here. Maybe say name of some city. Okay. We are going to drag and drop a date control. And the last one we will use is a number box. Now, the control morphing feature is supported both for data bound controls, which are bound to the data source, or the ones which are not bound. So what you'll see is there's a new option which is available over here, which is switch to. When I click on it, it will show me the corresponding controls which this control can be transformed to. And if there are any properties which we can match, it will copy over the property values as well. So you see the default value I gave over here was John, right? So if I transform this to text area, it got transformed to text area and the John property was maintained. Similarly, if I go to checkboxes, which is an example of a group or a collection control, You can see all the corresponding collection controls over here. So it will intelligently show you the matching control types only, and you can switch it. Similarly for date, all the corresponding date time controls are shown. For number box, the number box, currency, number kind of controls, star ratings, they are all shown. Now, this feature is only available till you commit it to library, because once you have committed it, you might have used it across forms. So once I click on save, now that feature goes away. Now, after this, if you want to make a change, you can always go to the library, drag and drop the control, and then you still have the switch to option over here. You can change it at library level and all the forms will inherit it. Okay, moving on. The next feature is around the usage of subform. Now, one of the feature requests we were getting is, as you know, that Agile Point has a functionality where you can save a draft version of your form. Now, maybe your subform has rows where there are mandatory fields and you don't know the data which is to be entered over there and you want to save it as draft, but it would not let you save it because the validation would trigger in. So we have now provided an option. So first I'm going to show you how it used to work and what is the default experience. So you'll see right now the new checkbox is called validate on form submission. Right now by default it is unchecked. So if I do a preview, and go to subform, if I try to edit this row and my amount field is mandatory, if I try to close this, it will not let me close this because the mandatory validation message kicks in. Now I might not know the amount for this and I want to just save the form as draft and I want only the validation to occur when I'm clicking submit. So that was one of the requests which was coming in. If I close this, I'll go back and select this checkbox. That means I'm trying to allow the draft save feature in this case. If I do a preview again, if I go to subform, edit it, pick a date. Now I have not entered the amount. It lets me close the form. Now what would happen is if I click submit, that's when the validation will kick in and it still shows me that the amount has not been entered. So I defer the validation of the subform till the submit button is clicked in this case. This is only probably required in case you have the save option, save as draft option. Next one is around lookup expressions. So I have a data grid over here and an auto lookup and this data grid has been bound to the auto lookup. This is going against a data entity. If I go to configure, now previously for data entity lookups, you could do only single level of expressions. Now you can do multiple. So before I do this, I'm going to show you the result set. If I do a quick preview, go to lookup expressions, you can see various rows are coming back. The travel row has amount 450. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a complex condition. Go back to configure. I'm going to add an expression where category is equal to travel and I can add a group now. I can add a group now and I would say where amount is greater than $400. So now it should bring back only one row. Go ahead and click finish. Let's preview the form again. Now you can see only one row came back because the criteria has been satisfied for only one row. Okay, moving on. The next one is ability to enter manual lookup query within a data entity kind lookup. So if I go and put this in edit mode, configure. Now previously all you could use was the quick config option. Now you have an option of entering your query just like I've shown over here. It's a regular database query because data entity is nothing but a database table. And you can validate the query right over here as well. you can see that, okay, there will be 2 columns and you can even change the name of those columns. So you can see over here, I changed the display name to name and value and the data types as string and number instead of what was coming back from the database. Moving on, the next one we are going to look at is some enhancements done around rules. Now, one of the things which people were asking was that while setting the field values, can I have an option of concatenating 2 field values? Now, previously, if you had to do it, you would have used formula fields or something, but we are making it easier to just do it in the rule builder itself. So now in the rule builder, if you drag and drop the set field value, the third field value, the target field is full name in this case, and I dragged and drop first name space last name. So 2 controls right over here. Previously, it used to allow only 1 control to be dragged and drop. So you can do those kind of concatenations as well instead of writing any expressions using formula. So if we just do a quick preview of this, the moment I tab out, you see the rule got triggered and it's John space print is available. Moving on, the next one we have added is ability to reorder your rules. So I have a text box control over here with rules, and the following messages are supposed to be shown as soon as I change the value of the text box. So the first one, I've set the message as first rule triggered, second rule triggered, third rule triggered, so that you guys can follow. I can always drag and drop and rearrange and click OK. So my ordering is now changed. Let's preview. I expect to see third message first. So if I go to reorder and John, as saw the third rule got triggered, then the second one, and then the first one. So you have complete control over reordering the rules as well. One of the requests we were getting is, can I specify the width of a form? I could obviously do it with CSS, but we have given you under appearance section a property where you can say instead of 100%, maybe just render as 50 or 60%. Let's do 60% in this case. If I do preview, instead of the full form, what you will see is now the form is rendering in 60% width. So you have complete control over specifying the width in terms of percentage. Moving on, the next one we will look at is around the form background image. Now, AgilePoint already had capabilities of specifying a form background image in past. Let's go ahead and do that first. I'm going to select a background image, click upload, and click OK. So as you can see, the background image got applied. I'm going to say show form background at runtime, yes. The new property which has been added is background image padding. You can specify whether the background image should be applied in the visible padding as a visible padding around the form or as a full page experience. So I'm going to say first visible padding around the form. If I preview this, as you can see, the image is only applied in the form area. If I close this, go to appearance, full page, and preview it again. Now it takes the full page experience. So those are some of the miscellaneous enhancements done to eForms module as part of AgilePoint NX version 9 software update 1. Thanks a lot for your time.